With the war in Ukraine and the natural disaster in Syria and Turkey, the number of forcibly displaced people has reached over 100 million and is expected to reach over 117 million by the end of 2023, according to UNHCR's estimations. The current refugee crisis is getting worse, and many refugees are dying on the dangerous path to safety. Statista.com states worldwide it was estimated that 8,000 people died in the attempt of fleeing their country. According to estimations, over 5,000 refugees lost their lives in the attempt to reach the European shores in 2016. But this crisis is not just affecting the refugees themselves. The refugee crisis is causing countries with a refugee crisis to have some of the worst hunger conflicts. For example, South Sudan, a country that has produced over 2.6 refugees due to war, is also facing its hungriest year ever. 8 million people are expected to suffer from some of the most extreme levels of food insecurity, and many will starve without help. Another great example about the negative effects of the crisis is in Syria, the country that forced over 5.5 million people out of its land, and the horrible conditions that the refugees live in. Over 70% of those 5.5 million people currently live in a condition of total poverty without access to basic necessities and services, including food and water. Although the refugee crisis is impossible to solve, a world without the refugee crisis would be very different. This would mean that everyone gets to live where they choose and there would be no violence anywhere throughout the world. This will lead to zero racial or sexual discrimination against anybody, since that is another cause of refugees. But in reality, I will focus on a world where the number of refugees isn't over 100 million, but around 15 million. Where refugees in their new countries can go and get a job easily without being harassed or discriminated against based on where they're from. Where there aren't thousands of refugees dying on their pathway to freedom. There will always be people that are displaced based on things that we expect to happen, but we need to focus on is how we can help out the people seeking asylum and the people in trouble, since we cannot stop the crisis in general from happening. Some of the best places to donate include the International Rescue Committee, UNICEF, and Doctors Without Borders. These organizations help refugees with a new country to live in, providing the proper treatment for those seeking asylum, and also helping them financially in their new home instead of letting them live in poverty and extreme hunger. Donate now and help refugees on their pathway to freedom.